Right, no messing about, let's get straight into it. Value at risk. Every bank quotes it, but Morgan, let's be honest, most people are getting it dead wrong, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Every bank quotes it, but Morgan, let's be honest, most people are getting it dead wrong, aren't they? Mate, it's painful. They hear value at risk and they think it's the maximum they can possibly lose, the absolute ceiling. And it's the complete opposite. It's not a ceiling, it's a bloody trapdoor. It's the minimum you can expect to lose on your worst days. Exactly. So let's break it down street level. If I'm running a book and I say my 1-day 95% VAR is 100 grand, what am I actually saying in plain English? You're saying there's a 95% chance that, between now and this time tomorrow, you won't lose more than 100K.
Right.
You're pretty safe. But, and this is the kicker, in that other 5% of scenarios, the bad days, you are guaranteed to lose at least 100K. Could be 101 grand. Could be the whole firm. VaR just kind of shrugs its shoulders and says, not my problem, chief. It's the bouncer at a club, innit? He tells you, look, 99% of the time, the worst that happens in here is someone spills a pint.
Okay.
But he doesn't tell you about that other 1% of the time when a full-on brawl breaks out and someone gets thrown through a window.
Wow.
VaR just points you to the door. It doesn't describe the carnage inside. So if it's got this massive blind spot, why did it become so massive? Why does every suit in Canary Wharf care about this one number? Because before VaR, risk was just vibes. It was a bloke in a corner office with a gut feeling. VaR, for all its faults, was the first tool that put a number on it. It made risk feel manageable.
Feel manageable. I like that. It's a comfort blanket.
Yeah.
But the blanket's full of holes. And that becomes obvious when you look at how they stitch this number together. There are 3 main flavors, right?
Yeah, think of them as 3 different fighters you could hire to protect your portfolio. First up, you've got the parametric method, your clean-cut, academy-trained boxer.
The one who thinks every fight follows the rules. This method assumes market returns fit a perfect, tidy bell curve, a normal distribution. It's quick, it's clean.
Right.
It's mathematically simple.
And it gets absolutely destroyed the second it faces a street fighter. Because markets aren't clean, are they? They have crashes, they have fat tails. So this method is notoriously bad. It's seeing a proper crisis coming.
Okay, so fighter number 2. You said this one's the lazy one?
Yeah, this is the historical simulation method. This fighter isn't smart, he just has a long memory. It doesn't use any fancy maths. It just, looks back at your last, say, 500 days of trading, lines up all your daily profits and losses from best to worst, and picks the 5th worst day. That's your 95% VaR. Done. Simple. I like simple.
Skeptical? So what's the catch?
The catch is it's like driving while only looking in the rearview mirror. It assumes the biggest crash of the future will look exactly like a crash from the past.
Right.
So it's good for predicting rain showers, but useless for a meteor strike.
So that leaves us with the 3rd fighter, the God tier one.
The one and only Monte Carlo simulation. This is your ultra-prepared MMA champion fighter. Instead of just looking at the past, you build a super smart computer model. You tell it all the rules of the game, the volatility of your assets, how they move together, all the complex stuff.
Okay.
You tell the computer, run me 10,000 possible versions of tomorrow.
So it creates thousands of simulated futures, some good, some bad, some absolutely apocalyptic.
Yep.
And from that massive set of outcomes, you calculate your VaR.
Exactly. It's by far the most powerful and flexible method. It can handle all sorts of complex derivatives and what-if scenarios. But, and it's a big but, it's a beast to build and run. And more importantly, it's only as good as the assumptions you feed it. Garbage in, garbage out.
Ah.
If your model of the world is wrong, your 10,000 simulations are just 10,000 wrong predictions.
This is the core problem, isn't it? The fat tail problem, as the quants call it. The fact that wild, extreme market moves happen way more often than the standard models predict. Yeah, Nassim Taleb built his whole career on this. He calls them black swans.
He does, and VaR is like a turkey, happily getting fed every day thinking life is grand because its model says so. Then surprise, Thanksgiving arrives, the model never saw it coming. VaR gives you a false sense of security right up until the moment you get wiped out.
So, if all these models are flawed, how does a bank or even a retail trader know if their VaR number is any good? How do they check their own work?
Now you're talking about backtesting. This is crucial. It's the reality check. You take your VaR model and you look back in time. Let's say for the last year, 250 trading days, your 95% VaR was £1 million each day.
Okay, so you'd expect to lose more than $1 million on roughly 1% of those days.
Yes,
So, about 2 or 3 times in the year?
precisely. So you go back and count the actual number of days you breached that £1 million loss.
Right.
If you had 2 breaches, great, your model's working. But what if you had 10 or 20?
Then your model is clearly underestimating risk. It's junk.
And the regulators know this. This is where the Basel traffic light system comes in. If you're a big bank, you report these breaches. 0 to 4 breaches in a year on a 99% VaR, you're in the green zone. Life is good. 5 to 9 breaches, you're in the yellow zone. The regulators are raising an eyebrow. They might ask you to review your model.
Okay.
And they'll increase the capital you have to hold as a buffer, just in case.
And 10 or more breaches?
That's the red zone. The sirens are wailing. Your model is declared useless and you get hit with a bigger capital penalty.
Wow.
It's the regulator's way of saying, sort your risk management out, you're a liability. It's amazing that this whole ecosystem exists just to manage the flaws of this one statistic. Which brings up the obvious question, if VaR is so problematic, what's the upgrade? What's the iPhone to VaR's Nokia? It's a great question, and there is an answer. It's called expected shortfall or conditional VaR, CVaR. It's what serious risk managers use now. It's designed to answer the exact question that VaR ignores, which is, okay, I've had a bad day, I've breached my VaR, now what? How much am I actually expected to lose?
Right. So back to the bouncer analogy, VaR is the bouncer who says, if you go in that room, you're getting in a fight.
Yeah.
And CVaR is the guy who says, and by the way, the average hospital bill for people who go in there is about $5,000. Perfect analogy. VaR is the warning light on the dashboard.
Okay, CVaR tells you how much the repair is going to cost. You need both to make an informed decision. One tells you the probability of a crash, the other tells you the severity.
Right. That makes perfect sense. Look, we're running up on time. To everyone listening, if you want to get into the nitty-gritty of this stuff and have a laugh with us, the link to the chat group is down below. Hop in.
Yeah, do it. And as we sign off, we've got a question for you to chew on. VaR is one number that attempts to simplify the massive, complex concept of risk, and we've seen how dangerous that oversimplification can be. So here's the question we'd like you to think about. What's the value at risk in your own life? What's that one single metric, be it the number in your bank account, your follow account, or even the weight on a scale that you rely on, but which might be hiding a much bigger, more complex reality? Think about it. Catch you in the next one.